Hey there, this is Anthony from magneticmemorymethod.com, and the purpose of this live stream is to talk about time and finding time for using your memory, developing your memory, getting some traction with memory techniques and doing it daily, because the time is totally in your control. You can actually manipulate it, and you can get a good smile on your face like the Cheshire Cat here. Now, before we get started, I just want to say this is the first time that I'm using YouTube Live, and so, wow, 5 people are already showing up, so it works. But forgive me if it's a little bit strange and weird, because this is the first time that I'm doing it. And I did a presentation similar to this on Facebook Live, and I thought, actually, the bigger audience I have is on YouTube, so I gotta do something for you guys as well on the same topic. But if you want to find me on Facebook, please do. We can hang out, be friends, and I share stuff over there that you might not be aware of and might get a benefit from. So listen, I've got a really, really powerful memory training that was not written by me, but I have full permission to share it with you. And so if you'd like that, if you're interested in it, post in the comment below, yes, I want to learn how to use time better, to create my memory palaces, use memory techniques, and hit the thumbs up while you do that, share all that stuff, and let me know that you want it, and I will get you that link. And it'll really, really benefit you. But this is just an amazing, amazing thing, that if you can get hold of time and get the power of time on your side, you can absolutely get all of the most amazing memory skills not only learned, but well exercised and used, so that you have that Cheshire Cat smile of wisdom and total control over time. So that's my goal for you. Thanks for that thumbs up. I don't know if I'm supposed to be seeing comments float on the screen or not. That's what hey Rajiv, good to see you. Thanks for your shout out there. So I know it's working. This is fun. But time is yours to control. You've just got to reach out, and you've got to take it, right? So one thing is that I've got a real nice bike here, and by the way, I'm going to, in a future video, tell you about how to use a bike as a memory palace. I'm actually going to go to the shop where I got that bike and show you how to use the shop as a memory palace, and then the bikes themselves. And there's like a neat way that you could actually reproduce the bikes in your mind. But you need to spend time on memory techniques in order to get to that level where you can actually explore the more advanced techniques and put them into use for yourself. And keep the comments coming, by the way, guys. I can actually press a little button here, and I can see all the different chat viewing options and interact with you, because it's live. Isn't that cool? Anyway, and again, if you want that special resource, leave me a comment and I'll get it over to you. You'll want to look for a private message through Facebook for that, or you can just whatever. I'll find you, and if you don't hear from me, then I'll find you somehow, and you can find me to get it. Let me know that you left a comment here on YouTube. So how are we going to get control of time? Well, one of the first things to really do is actually read about time. Understand what it is. Develop your own philosophy of time, but invest some time in learning how to think about time, right? So one book that I love is The Power of Now, and there's some wacky stuff in there, but more or less, it really, really, absolutely gives you an understanding of how you can appreciate time, how you can think about time as the valuable, beautiful, amazing resource that it is. And you can control it, you can own it, you can shape it to your needs, and really, really have just a different relationship with time than you would ever think of. So the book is by Eckhart Tolle. It's called The Power of Now, and it'll really, really help you. Also, there's another book that you want to look into called Get Things Done, and it's just super powerful, because one of the biggest problems that we have is that we are burdened on our shoulders with having our minds cluttered by all the undone things. So if you want to come to memory training and you really, really want to dive in and really get mastery in it, you kind of want to figure out what are all the things that are preventing you from pursuing your real interest and getting traction in it. And if you can just do a mind dump of all the things that are not done, and then get them done and get them off your head, even if you just get them onto paper, you're going to have more space in your mind because you've emptied them out. And I'll show you a little bit about how this works, because hey, we're live, we can walk around. So this is kind of like messy and stuff, but like this is something I've got going on, and that's how I brain dump. I'm not going to do everything on there. Some of those things are going to go to assistants. Some of them are going to be in the not now file. And oh, hold on, Oscar's saying Napoleon said something about how some people steal our time. That's a great point, Oscar. I don't know that quote from Napoleon. If you can find it and put it in the comments below for everybody to read, that would be amazing. That'd be so good of you to do that. And I'll flag it to look up myself, but if you can find that, that would be awesome. Because there are things called time vampires, which is a good point. I wasn't thinking about talking about that, but time vampires are anyone who is taking your time, right? And here's an interesting point that just comes to mind thanks to Oscar's comment there and quotation reference to Napoleon, is that you want everything that you do to create energy. Not take energy, but create energy. And the more you can focus on activities that create energy rather than taking energy, then the more your time is valuable to you. And it's like a machine that builds itself. You're able to absolutely 100% fundamentally focus on feeding the machine of positivity, feeding the machine of energy that creates energy rather than takes energy away. Now, of course, I'm not building some kind of woo-woo portrait. I'm building a very realistic thing. We're all going to get tired. We're all going to run out of energy. We have to stop and eat and replenish ourselves. And we have basic physiological realities. But when we think about time, when we maximize the value of time, and we think about all the things that create energy rather than take it away, well, then we can look at these time vampires that Oscar was referring to there, and we can just get them out of our lives. And time vampires can be actual people. They can be what I'm talking about in terms of all the things that are on our minds that are interrupting us from actually focusing time and attention on the goals that get us to what we want to achieve in life. We can get those time vampires away because they're sucking our energy. They're not giving us energy, they're taking it. So that's a huge thing. If you want the time to really focus on memory training, memory improvement, and getting in there, you've got to get rid of the things that are interrupting you from creating the time and actually investing in the time. Because when you come to memory, you want to be there. You need to be present with it. You can't be distracted. This is one of the keys to using your memory, is being able to pay attention and focus on the information, and then being relaxed so that the associative imagery, the magnetic imagery, comes to you. Not that you fight for it, not that you have to create it, but that it actually comes to you. So people give you imagery, or they give you words, they give you numbers, they give you foreign language vocabulary, phrases, whatever it is that you're working on memorizing, playing cards, that you don't, like, this is the thing. It's not work. It creates energy. When you're able to just look at information and be like, I will use that. I will use that. That image works, blah, 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 blah. You're creating energy. You're creating enthusiasm. But if you're sitting there coming to the art of memory, coming to the practice of memory, and you're worried about your 900 item to-do list, you're not present. You're not there for memory. So the memory cannot be there for you, right? So this is absolutely amazing. Now, I think I saw a comment from someone named Russell there, if my memory serves, and he was saying he was in Alaska, asking what the time is here, and the time is, well, I actually don't know. If I press something, does it tell me? It's the afternoon in Brisbane. I'm in Australia, and I'm just about to go out on a ride on my bike, and as I was promising you guys, I'll be doing a presentation at some point, more of a formal video showing how I use my bike as a memory palace. And one word asks, how many hours would you spend every day on your memory training? Oh, it's 10:34, Victoria says, in California. Wow, so that's late at night. As I said at the beginning of the video, I don't know if you caught on, this is my first YouTube live, so forgive any flaws and so forth, but I wanted to try it, and as I was mentioning, I gave one on Facebook the other day. It wasn't my first one on Facebook, but very early days in doing this, and so, you know, if you're not following all the magnetic memory method stuff on Facebook, you might want to check that out, because if you're into Facebook, which, actually I have Facebook severely disabled, so I don't really see people's feeds and stuff like that, but I'm happy to be friends with you so you can see the stuff that I share. But really, the honest tip is that disable Facebook. Get into like my groups that I have for people memorizing different topics, and maybe follow my page so that you're constantly thinking about memory and being reminded to use your memory if you're going to spend time on social media. Otherwise, couldn't you be spending that time on improving your memory? I think that would be an amazing thing. And one of the biggest things that I've done in my life is just like only following things that really, really are either directly serving what I'm trying to learn and implement and do regularly in my life, or that are reminding me to do it. Like, so I follow certain things that are just, it's a lot of email from them, or it's a lot of posts or whatever they're doing, but it is reminding me that this is my goal, this is what I'm working on. And so it constantly reinforces that that's what I'm working on and that's what I'm doing. So no, it's not the world news. No, it's not just, okay, so Oscar's got this quote here. There is one kind of robber whom the law doesn't strike at and steals what is the most precious to men, time. So that's from Napoleon. Great, thank you for sharing that. If you haven't already, I can't see you right now, but if you also could post that in the comments below this, if that even is there, that would be awesome. And if not, maybe when I watch this back, I can extract it. But thank you, Oscar. That's amazing, and I really, really appreciate it. So time, so I gave you 2 resources so far, some books, and feel free to watch this video again, scan through it, and find it. I'll put some description there, and I'll do my best to make sure that this material is readable as well. I'm gonna see. I just saw something from Sandra go by, and I want to see if I can actually read that. But this is my first time doing this, so forgive me if I'm interrupting the flow here, but I can't seem to get it to come up. But Sandra, if you post that again, or if it's in the comments below, which, by the way, I want you to put something in the comments below, because then I'm going to send you a time management resource that someone created. It's created by a fan of the magnetic memory method who uses the magnetic memory method. I have the permission to share with you. It's written, it's audio, and I want to share it with you. So leave a comment, press the like button, share this stuff, but definitely leave a comment so I know that you're interested in it. And I will absolutely make sure that you get that at some point today. I'm gonna go, as I mentioned, on a bike ride here. But I know some of the comments that you're mentioning. Oh, by the way, just in case you haven't gotten the message and you're just popping on, we're gonna do a video soon about using a bike as a memory palace. Hey, Small Business says, very interesting. Thanks so much for that, letting me know. And Jean, glad to see that you're interested. Books. Read books about time. Understand what time is. Develop a philosophy for yourself about time. No one can do it for you. You've got to invest time in understanding time. And Nichomachean says, would love to learn about finding time to do memory improvement as a student right now. It'd be very useful. Well, this is what we're talking about in this video. So the first thing is make sure that you have a philosophy of time. Invest some time in. Hey, Rajiv says, very happy to see you live. Thank you so much. I'm happy to have you here live, and I hope that you will be able to come again. I know that it's different parts of the world. I'm in Brisbane, so it's probably I'm noticing it's quite late or early in different places, but I'm glad you're here, and I really, really appreciate your participation. Have a philosophy of time. How do you get a philosophy of time? You read a little bit about philosophy. So Power of Now is good. Getting Things Done is a good book. I like to read the old guys, like Plato, Aristotle. I can't suggest to you any particular book that just like talks about time very deliberately, but if you like search Aristotle and time, or philosophy of time, and Plato, philosophy of time, it starts to give you some ideas. And Aristotle in particular, maybe the book to read is called Nichomachean Ethics. It was very important to me when I wrote my dissertation, and it was particularly important because of friendship, which is what I wrote my dissertation on. But it'll give you some ideas about time and how it's best used, particularly in relation to the topic of courage. And it takes courage to do memory training, and it takes courage to carve out the time to do it. And as I said, this memory dump, where you make sure that nothing is interrupting the time that you have set aside to work on memory improvement. So memory improvement is really easy. What do? You learn the techniques, then you practice them. There's nothing more or less difficult than that. Here's the trick though. If you're going to practice memory techniques, and this is what a lot of people don't do, what they do is they get these books and they follow the exercises. Okay, some of those exercises are good. I'm not going to Gene, I will list those books, and they'll be in the description below. I'm going to edit this description later, so check in, and definitely I will make sure that these books are listed for you. But you want to practice your memory, I believe, very strongly. Look, this isn't dogma. Don't necessarily take it as some kind of religious Ten Commandments kind of stuff on high, but you might want to, because I do kind of look, like a savior. But what I mean to say is that this is very, very important, and I've seen it again and again and again and again, is that these people come to me, they've read every memory improvement book under the sun, they're not getting results. Why? Because the memory improvement books, they say, let's go easy on these people. Let's teach them to memorize their shopping list. Well, that's not going to get you very far. Look, in my opinion, not so humbly, and I say this with all the love in the world, if you can't remember what you like to eat, and unless you're a chef or a Cuisinart or whatever you are, there's really no excuse for needing to remember your shopping list. But this is what the books teach. Again and again and again. It's like somebody started this terrible meme. Hey, let's teach people about their memory, and let's use their shopping list as an example. No wonder people don't get results. You need to link the thing that you're practicing your memory with something that you're passionate about, or something that's going to get you results. That's the secret. That's one of the biggest secrets. Because when I learned memory techniques, when they said, hey, use your shopping list, or they were giving these stupid, useless examples like red, cat, bus, pencil. I don't need to remember that stuff. What I needed to remember was architectonic tautology, and I needed to remember pregnans constructio, and I needed to remember bereshit bara, lachim, vahashayet, vahashamayim, tohu vaho, and all this stuff. I needed the goods, not shopping list, okay? So I'm so passionate about people learning memory techniques and getting them right from the get-go. So don't practice with shopping lists if you can avoid it. You've got to just find for yourself something. Here's another secret for you. You've got to find the thing that is just challenging enough that you're actually going to struggle, and you're going to grow, and you're going to learn, but not too challenging that it's going to frustrate you and cause you to quit, right? Because if it's too easy, or it's too Mickey Mouse trip to Disneyland stuff that doesn't really connect, then that's not going to help. It's not going to help. Small business agrees. Thank you. And if you do agree, let me know. Or if you think I'm misguided, let me know, because we're live. We can have a discussion about this. We can have a discussion. That's the coolest thing about this live thing. And by the way, keep checking and watching for this. If you want to be notified of live, apparently what you got to do is you got to be subscribed to this channel, which I assume you are if you're watching, and then click this little bell that is somewhere there. It's different on mobile than it is on desktop, and then you'll get an email, because I'm going to be doing these lives more often. And if you want to be notified and you want to be on the live calls to interact, then that's what to do. Oscar's now sharing. Oscar, you're amazing. You're just the share master today. Kaizen, a little step can change your life. Yeah, Kaizen is a really, really interesting thing, and it relates to what I'm talking about. Just little steps. But what I'm suggesting here is that it's the quality and the intention of the steps that you take. So it doesn't matter if it's a small step. If it's an irrelevant step, it's not going to help you nearly as much as a step that is relevant to your passions. Victoria is saying, asking about memory techniques for learning a language. I've got books on that. I've got courses, and if you search YouTube, you'll see I've got resources that are freely given here on YouTube that will take you through some of that stuff. If you implement what I'm suggesting in any of those resources, you will have a blast with language learning. You will amaze yourself with what you can do. You will walk down the street and you will be thinking in the language that you are learning, and you will be doing it in the way that I cannot imagine even being bothered to learn anything without these techniques, because it just is not nearly as fun or exciting or personally rewarding, or tapping into your personal history, the music you love, the movies you love, the books you've read, the places you've been. That's what memory techniques do for you. They make it a wonderful, wonderful place to be learning. The struggle just disappears. You can erase it, and it's amazing. But you got to find the time to learn the techniques, and you learn them by doing. So you need a guide, and I've packaged up all this stuff in multiple ways for everybody, and I hope you find them. But don't let free stuff be the poison that that stops you from learning. You've got to implement. You've got to actually do the stuff. So if you go to magneticmerrymethod.com, it's as clear as a bell where to sign up for the free training. It's free. Yes, there's an offer there. If you're averse to offers, then, no one's forcing you to take it. But it is a legendary video series because it gives you so much of what you need and all of what you need, because you will learn by doing. And I tell you in that video series, draw a memory palace, send it to me. I legitimately will get back to you if you send me that. I have thousands of these things, and people who take action get results. You learn this by doing. You just need to find the time, and then you need to link the time that you're spending with the practice of memory, using things, information that you're actually going to learn, that you actually need to learn, that you actually want to learn. And then that's what makes it so easy. So when I say, oh, it's so easy, and then other people are like, no, this is hard, and you're from the Twilight Zone, and I don't know what the hell you're talking about, and I don't get it, and all that sort of stuff. I think that I can't make myself more clear. It's just like learning to ride a bike, Rajiv. You're right. Like this beautiful bike, Memory Palace bike, the Magnetic Memory Method theme bike. I don't know how I can make it more clear to people. It's like learning a musical instrument, right? When I spend my time on my bass, I'm not going to show you my bass right now. Maybe in a future live video we'll talk about music and memory experiments that I'm doing now. But when I go to practice bass, I don't learn music that I don't like. I don't learn music I'm not interested in. If I have to learn a complicated skill, then I go and find a song that has the skill that I need to play it that I like, not some song that I'm bored with and I don't like. Because, Gene's a bass player too. Awesome. Well, send me some of your music if you have any recorded. And, I used to play bass in the Outside. You got to check out that music. And some of my videos, like the Leaving Berlin videos, you'll see us, we're kind of like making a music video because we're doing the soundtrack or the theme song for my new podcast that's coming out soon. And you can ask, if you're interested, just ask me in the comments below and I'll send you the link to the new blog. The podcast isn't launched yet, but if you want to hear some magnetic memory bass and the theme song for the new podcast, you can hear that. And then, of course, if you listen to the end of the Magnetic Memory Method podcast episodes, going all the way back nearly to the end, to the beginning of the show, those always have me playing bass. I play that, and I did the drums on it as well, with the help of a computer, of course. But in any case, it's just sitting down and learning it. But link what you want to remember with what you actually want to know. So think of that music metaphor. Remember that music metaphor. If you want to study something and learn, then you need to actually link it to something you want. Akib asks if I have any training tips. Yes, the training tips are find time to actually train, and then link what it is and learn the techniques, and then practice with information that matters to you. If it's mathematical formulas, practice with those so that when you go to your job or you go to your school the next day, you actually have something, not a shopping list, not a list of random words, not a string of meaningless digits that have no value to you. Practice with the things that will make a difference in your life. That's the best training tip in the world. Other than that, it's all technical stuff, right? So I can talk all day long about training tips, but the best thing is when you go out and you train and then you come across a question, and that question is coming from a space of experience because you're on the path. If you ever notice, the most interesting questions are the ones from the people who are doing, right? Because you don't, and I say this with all the love in my heart for people who want to learn memory techniques, you don't have an interesting question until that you are a person who's asking a question from a space of learning, from doing. And the quality of your question comes usually from the actual space that you're coming from. Because, it's just like anything, and there's students there's teachers that are such jerks, and I hope I'm not one of them. But one of the reasons why teachers, they get sour over the years and they get bad, and it's not just because they have crushing administrations that rob them of their passion, but they also just have, Oscar was asking earlier about time vampires. Well, they have time vampires all around them. They have students who don't they don't try to answer their own questions and then come to the teacher and say, I've got this question, here's what I did to try and answer it for myself first. This is where I got stuck as I was answering it. Could you help me? Now that teacher is already going to be 150 billion% more primed to take that student and help them to the ends of the earth than just the next student who's just like some random question that, what are they looking for? A magic bullet? They're looking for the easy button or whatever. That stuff doesn't exist. That's what people want to hear. They want little magic pills wrapped around it. It's just, you really, really want to absolutely just understand that you can ask the most amazing questions and get the most amazing answers by being on the path. Teachers want to help, but the teacher is only so good as the student. They always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. This is nonsense. It's when the teacher is ready, the students will appear, or it's both. They've got to be ready for each other in order for the magic to happen. And they get ready for each other by doing things like this, being on a live video. And I hope if I've done nothing else, I've inspired you to find some time, think about time differently, and put some effort into doing this, and then study, train. Memory techniques are a self-study. It is self-study because it's your brain, nobody else's. It's your memory, nobody else's. You got to get in there. You got to massage it. You got to understand. You got to come up against resistance, your own resistance. You got to feel it, and then you got to go, that's what's going on here. That's why I forget. And then that's why this technique is a little bit tougher than the other one. And that's why. And if you link what you're training with to something that you're passionate about, or something that's going to make a difference immediately, quick victories or slow victories that are faster in coming than just doing nonsense memory exercise, you're gonna get it so much easier, and then you're gonna take it into every area of your life, and it's gonna be amazing. So I was asked about the memory courses, where you can find a list. Barbara Oakley talks about time vampires also. If you haven't heard my interview with Barbara Oakley, you've got to check it out. Just search magneticmemorymethod.com on Google with Barbara Oakley in the thing, or magneticmemorymethod.com learning how to learn, and you'll find it. She's so amazing. She's gifted me with so much time. You have no idea how much correspondence we've had since she was on the show, and what a great comrade in memory and learning that she has become. And I'm so grateful that she said yes to that interview, and I'm so grateful to all for you mentioning her name, because it gives me an opportunity to remind you that this April her new book Mind Shift comes out, and she has a new MOOC coming out connected to the book. And if you haven't taken Learning How to Learn, get in that course. It's free and it's amazing. But you know what? Like I said earlier in this video, free is meaningless if you don't implement. You're just wasting your time. So don't even take free stuff if you're not going to use it. It's just that problem of time, right? Because then you end up with yet another thing on your shoulder that is getting in the way of actually doing something. So, hey, unsubscribe from my email list if you have to in order to buy time. I don't mind. You can come back later. I will remember you. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm not a precious little flower. I want you to spend your time effectively and actually link what you want with your passions. So this is the best piece of advice I can give you, and thank you for mentioning Barbara Oakley. If you want to invest your time in taking Magnetic Memory Method courses, I'm always working on making the presentation of what they are better, and actually there's a lot of work going into that right now, probably adding a store to magneticmemorymethod.com. But right now the best thing to do to find out more information is to take either the free video course, which you can register for at magneticmemorymethod.com. It's clear as daylight where to register for that, or you can just go to magneticmemorymethod.com. If you like to skip to the head of the line and you just want the training, go to magneticmemorymethod.com/masterclass. Anyway, this is not a sales pitch thing, but I'm not embarrassed or shy or anything like that to let you know that I have premium training. It's there for a reason, and there's a reason why there's a cost, and that's because there's magic in having skin in the game. And free is poison. Free is so dangerous in so many ways if you don't implement. So if you take that free course that I've got for you, it asks you, send me a memory palace, draw it out. Do you think I do that because it's some kind of woo-woo magic potion hypnosis to get you to buy something? No, it's to get you to actually take action, because you learn this by doing. And I know this, and people, again, I'll repeat it, I've already said it on this video, I have thousands of these memory palaces that people have sent, and I'm inching you towards getting the result you're looking for. But you've got to create time for it. That time has to be unencumbered from other commitments during that period of time that you spend. I use the Freedom Journal, and now I'm using the Mastery Journal. I'll take you into my office here and show you. Like, I don't just talk about this stuff, I do it, okay? And I want you to do it too, because it's going to change your life. It's going to make things so much better. I am using the Mastery Journal now, and you know, this may not be the perfect thing for you, but it's so great. You can get it in a PDF. I don't recommend that. We are getting digital amnesia so bad, and if you haven't heard me talk about digital amnesia, that's there's a whole podcast about that. But there's a book out there now called The Revenge of Analog. I highly recommend reading it, and it's all about why these physical things are so important. Now, I'm a minimalist as much as I can be, but there's also, we have research. Memory is linked to physical. It's so important. Write things out with your hand. Read books that you hold in your hand. Send your customers postcards. I shouldn't show the address there, but a bunch of people just joined the masterclass, a whole whack of them. I'm going to be writing out dozens upon dozens of postcards to send in the mail, because this is cool and I want them to feel something, and it's just, you got to get books in your hand. We have research that shows that reading physical books gets it into your memory better than Kindle. It's just that clear. So I do these things. I don't just talk about them, I do them. And it's really, really important. So if I can inspire you to get something like the Freedom Journal if you're struggling with time, or get something like the Mastery Journal, it's the best money you will spend if you do it. Just do it. Try these things. The worst that can happen is that you don't have a coffee budget for a month. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of money that people spend on coffee, and they're not even optimizing the coffee so it helps their memory. And a little tip for you, if you can get hold of some raw cacao and stir it in there. Now, I'm not going to make any scientific claims or anything like that, but the research that I've done shows that it helps boost your memory. And even if the research doesn't pan out, I think that there's an argument and a case to be made that it does help your memory, because it's very clear to me that the attention is attenuated. The coffee burns in a different way, and you're just much more present. And that's a huge thing about your memory, is being present. Be present. Be in the world, and be there. And that can help. And I'm not going to say it's going to help for everybody, and there's nothing I'm saying that constitutes medical advice, so please never take it that way. But I do have in the masterclass a course called Memory Destroying Foods and What to Eat Instead. I need to update it with my raw cacao and coffee experiments, but it's all part of this. It's all part of structuring your time, having daily rituals. So I know there were some questions I didn't get to answer. They certainly can be picked up on a future live. Again, in case you didn't catch it, I guess one of the ways, and again, it's my first YouTube live, so we'll try to get this a little bit more streamlined next time. But one of the ways this works is that it's somewhere you can click a little bell, and then you'll get emails when I post a new video. They won't all be lives, but you'll know when I'm live, and you can hop on and we can have this discussion. I want to discuss with you and be able to answer at least some of the questions that come in. I really appreciate them, and I really appreciate the opportunity that you're here and we can engage and interact. And like these videos, share them, comment. For years, I never asked people to do that because I don't know why. It didn't feel right for some reason. It just always sounded weird to me. But I made myself get into it because I saw all these incredible people doing it, and they're doing it because it helps their message spread all over the world. And I found out that people just don't do that automatically. You got to ask them. So I'm asking you to help me spread these messages, videos like this. Things that I do, the podcast, like with Barbara Oakley that was just mentioned. We're busting our asses to get you guys to do stuff. Information being free doesn't help. It's implementing. Implement. So get up tomorrow, and if you want to do what I do, here's how it works. And then I'll wrap up, and we'll see you the next time. But here's my habit chain in the morning. I get up, the bedroom's over there, I brush my hair, brush my teeth, and then I go into that room that I've been walking in and out. Oh, where's my jet? Says thank you for the live video. You're absolutely welcome, and please come back the next time. And Rajiv says, you're really helping the world. Well, thank you. You're helping the world too. That's the whole point. When you're here, when you're showing up, when you're commenting, when you're sharing, you're helping the world also. You're helping those who help. And if we, I learned years and years ago from I was a professor for a long time, but when I first started teaching at university, Mark Weber, he taught the literary imagination. It was like a course about animals and literature. And he told me that our job when we are teaching university students is just to cast the net, to bring them closer to being better citizens of the world, which means being teachers themselves. So that's what we're always edging you guys towards doing, is doing what we're doing. It's like this mass project, and there's so many different things that are involved in it, but that's the point, is not just to inspire you to get skills and stuff, but then get you to also pass it on, pass it forward, move it on, and just let's make this world the best it can possibly be, because we have time running out all the time. It's gone. The seconds that we have together now, they're gone. And every second of the day you have an opportunity to be doing something or preparing yourself for the doing that will make you a better teacher when, as I said, it's not that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, or when the teacher is ready, the student will appear. It's both. And we need to prepare each other, because when preparation meets opportunity, there's no ceiling to the amazing things that can happen. So let's all get prepared. There was a question about the Magnetic Memory Method forum. Guys, I tried so hard during the winter to get a forum up in the masterclass, and it totally wrecked the whole place, and we're still kind of doing damage control on that, but I'm gonna revisit it as soon as possible. There's been some like one of my assistants had an accident and isn't working anymore, and another one was phased out and a new one was phased in, and so there's a lot of changes going on, and wow, it's amazing if you're on this side of the screen, all the moving parts and whistles, you're just trying to get people taught, get them to use memory techniques, and yet you've got to, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, it's just amazing. It's more jobs than just sitting here and talking, but I have to have a daily memory training myself. But a forum is coming, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be in the masterclass. So if you are in the masterclass now, you'll be grandfathered, or I guess you won't be grandmothered, because I'm not a grandmother, but I'm not a grandfather either, but I'll grandfather you into that if you're already there, and then we'll figure it out. But there are a lot of technical problems. I don't know why these things are so difficult. I just ask the tech guys, can you figure it out? And sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. Sometimes it's like 100-hour projects. I don't know why. I think my time is better spent not learning why, because I probably won't be able to fix it anyway, and just keep on teaching. And the help comes. The help you need comes. It just doesn't always come as fast as you'd like. But in any case, forum is coming, and for now, this is our forum right here. So, and these lives, they're gonna be great. So be subscribed to them. In any case, I was gonna share with you, if you want a morning ritual to model or to think about creating your own, I get up, I brush my teeth, and I brush my hair. And the masterclass is anytime, Sandra. You can go to magneticmemorymethod.com/masterclass for all the info, and that's it's just rolling. It's rolling. Or you just check it out. There's lots of ways to train. You just watch these videos. There's lots of videos on YouTube that will give you stuff to work on as well. Again, this is not a sales presentation video. This is talking about time and controlling it. But if you are disciplined with your time, there's a study guide in the masterclass, and that masterclass will, if you follow that study guide, you're gonna have an amazing time. You just got to implement. That's the most important thing. And Sandra says, many thanks. Tonight was great. It was great that you were here, Sandra. I really, really appreciate it. And having you as a participant in the discussion, I'm deeply grateful. So the morning ritual. the reason why I'm mentioning the brushing hair and the teeth thing is that it makes me feel good. And sometimes, I get up and if I miss that step, then the next step isn't nearly as good. So then I go and I hydrate. And the cool thing about the Mastery Journal is that it's got spots to write down and check out that you've actually done that. So you don't forget, you don't have to remember, because you've got a list there that tells you. A general rule, Jean says, thank you also, Jean, for being here and your participation. I really, really appreciate it. And can't wait to speak further on the next one. But the thing is a general rule of memory is that if you can relegate it to something else, ideally non-digital, then you don't have the pressure of it on your mind and you can actually focus on the memory training, right? So, and the cool thing with the memory or the Mastery Journal is that at the end of the day, it prompts you to fill out what you're going to do the next day. So you're already priming yourself to do it the next morning. So hair, teeth, drink water, lots of water. Then it's, I like to roll my legs. I have this roller and muscles in my hips and stuff. I have psoriasis, arthritis, and I got to deal with that stuff. So I put some time into that, and I can't practice my memory if I'm in too much pain. So I've got to do some pain management, because I find that if I do the rolling after I do memory practice, then I'm just concentrated too much on the pain. So do that. Then I like to meditate for 9 minutes, and I know it's 9 minutes because I use the human charger. Human charger goes in the ears. It's a light therapy device. You'd think, dude, you live in Australia. What do you need light therapy for? Believe me, I'm like knee deep in research. You can benefit from light therapy even in the sunniest place in the world, especially the human charger, because it goes in your ears and it reaches inner parts of the eye that don't normally see light. And like the pineal gland here actually has light sensors. It's like the third eye stuff. So some of that stuff that you hear that sounds so mystical and strange, there may be scientific basis for it. I'm not going to get into the sciencey discussion. I don't know enough about the human charger research or all these things. I just know that it works for me, and if it's just amazing. It's so much fun. And so I use that to also guide the meditation. There's no sound. I just sit there and meditate. And I meditate often longer than that after the light therapy thing is done, but it's great. And it just activates all this stuff. And it also theoretically regulates when I'll be able to sleep. I find that I fall asleep very easily because of using the human charger, because of it's kind of like helping regulate serotonin, and then later in the day when melatonin triggers, or because it sometimes fails to trigger. Anyway, that's the next thing. Then I journal, not in the Mastery Journal, not in my memory journal, but in another journal, and I journal the things I'm grateful for. I journal what I want, what I'm doing, what am I not doing that I wish I was, but mostly I'm just focusing on gratitude. So tomorrow the thing I'll be journaling about is how grateful I am that so many people showed up on this live, my first YouTube live, and I'll be doing that. And we're talking like 5 minutes for each of these activities or less, right? So I don't want to paint this picture like, oh my God, this is hours of things. Like, it's brush hair, brush teeth, drink water, roll my legs, meditate for 9 minutes, journal for probably what amounts to 5 minutes. It's with my hand, pen or pencil in a special book that I have just for that. Then I get out the memory journal and I review whatever I've done, if I need to do review by actually looking at anything. But I usually start by just dumping what it was that I memorized the other day. And sometimes it's just one word and one phrase. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 10. It doesn't matter. And if I ever miss a day, then I go back to the day before and I recall it to the extent that it needs recall. I always start with recall. And I'm sort of skipping a detail, but if you want to, keeping a dream journal is also very good, because you start your day off with memory and you start your day off with creativity, and you're just constantly priming yourself to live a life devoted to having a better memory. It's just phenomenal. It's epic. It's life-changing. And in the masterclass, there's a whole course just on dream recall that you can take at your leisure. But it's its own little art and science. It's not exactly related to memory improvement and memory techniques, but it's well worth doing. And the short version of the course is write down your dreams, and you will get good at remembering them. So try it. Anyway, then, so let's say I'd memorized 5 new words in Chinese, which is what I'm studying right now. I'll go to the memory palaces. I'll look at the images if I need to. Sometimes I just, because I've already repeated them enough times in the day that they've taken hold. And sometimes I'll struggle a little bit. Sometimes I'll think, you know what, that mnemonic, I have to do something to it because it's not strong enough. There's just something missing there. There's a little something that's just not getting it. And because if it's not accurate, then what's going to happen is that you're not going to be able to get it into long-term memory accurately. And so I have a level of challenge that's quite bigger than I'm used to right now, and that's with Chinese, because there's not just sound and meaning, but there's sound and meaning and tone. And so I'm using the major method to help with the tones. So all of this is practice recall. Then what I'll do is approximately 10 to 15 minutes of new Chinese that I will layer in. And the amount that I will take in is relative to the success of what I'm practicing in recall. And then throughout the day, I'm lucky I have the opportunity to have a Chinese speaker at home, so I can practice this stuff, talk a little bit in Chinese and so forth. But and that's very good. But if I didn't have that, and there were times when I didn't have that, I would have at least 3 times a week a scheduled call with somebody who is using who speaks Chinese, and I would spend that time with them. And I need to start doing that with German, because even though I know German very well, I'm not speaking it every day, and I don't want to lose it, right? So I have some meetings scheduled for the coming week with some German speakers just to speak German. And I'm actually working on a new book right now. It's not a repeat of How to Learn and Memorize German Vocabulary, which you may have in your collection already. If you remember an earlier part of the call, I was talking about the importance of physical books. You can grab one on Amazon. Get the 2nd edition. It's the one that has the white cover. It's way better than the 1st edition, and it'll get you much better results. But the 1st edition, I still stand by it. There's a couple typos here and there. I was a wild child back then when I wrote it, but it's still the epic book that the first one is somehow precious. In any case, I'll have to tell you the story about how I wrote it at some point, and you can always read it on magneticmemorymethod.com. It's the story of how to learn and memorize German vocabulary. But get the 2nd edition in print if you want to remember it better and have a guide, and make sure you get all the worksheets that go with it and so on. But the point is do this stuff. Find the time for it. And then, the next thing I do is I write about 1,000 words, and then the computer is allowed to go on. So if you have no other takeaway from this, all that I just said, that's called a habit chain. One thing doesn't happen until you don't do the next step until the first step is completed. So there is no drinking water until hair and teeth are brushed. There is no rolling my legs until that I've had the water. There's no journaling or meditation rather until that I've rolled my legs. There is no going to the journaling until that I've done the meditation. You know what I'm saying? And it's like dominoes. So you knock down one domino, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And no computer goes on. I don't pick up this iPhone. I don't pick up the other iPhone that I have. I don't turn the computer on. I don't look at what's happened on the internet. I don't read any stories. I don't look at anything. I just go for this habit chain, and I knock them down one by one. After that, most of my work for the day, like the most important things that I want to do that means so much to me, they're done. And I'm free the rest of the day to just work with nothing on my shoulders other than all the things that I also want to get done. And I have schematics for the rest of the day to help guide that as well. But that's the morning. And so you can model that. You can find your way into something like that, and it will change your life. Now, here's the thing that might sound a little bit overwhelming to some people. Don't let it be overwhelming. Just do it, and do it consistently for at least 100 days. So I really recommend the Freedom Journal for that, before the Mastery Journal. Do the Mastery Journal after you've done the Freedom Journal, and the Freedom Journal will take you through 100 days, and it'll take you through 10-day sprints, and your life will change by the end of that. Or just any 100-day commitment to a ritual. Because they say that you need 21 days to build a habit that lasts for life and all that. That's nonsense. That's never what the original study said in the first place. And it doesn't even make sense, right? There is no such thing as a lifetime habit. We all fall off the horse sooner or later. And the question is, how fast can you get back on the horse after you've fallen off of it? Actually, yesterday I wrote a new post about this called "How to Get Back on the Horse After You've Fallen," or whatever. I'm going to change the title, but I've got to work on the title. But it's for my other blog, and I don't know if you know it. I'll leave a link down below when I revise this video. And if you want to get into that stuff, the other sort of self-development that's more about these things related to health and general psychological health, then I'd be happy to have you engage over there as well. But the point being that you really want to carve out time. You want to understand time. So just to repeat what we were talking about, where we started this, read books about time. Just one, even. Power of Now. I really highly recommend that. Develop your own personal philosophy of time. Respect time. Honor time. Make time the most important thing to you, and really, really explode it. And if you like the time management material that I'd like to give to you that I didn't create, it's created by another person who used the magnetic memory method and wrote an amazing post. He created an audio walkthrough of what he did for you. And if you're interested in that, make sure that you've left a comment in the discussion below. I'll figure out how to get it to you. I haven't done a Facebook Live before. So if for some reason it doesn't show up in your inbox on YouTube or whatever, hit me up on Facebook. I'd love to connect with you on Facebook anyway. Little Bows says, "Thank you, sir, for the content and your time." My pleasure. Thank you for being here. But let me know in the comments below that you want this training about time management tips for creating memory palaces created by a student of the magnetic memory method. You're going to love it. It's going to help you relative to you are actually using the techniques. None of it's going to help you if you don't implement. So read it, listen to the audio, and actually use it. And one word says, "I will go through it soon." And another comment came up there real fast saying that the person has how to learn and memorize the vocabulary of any language and will go through it soon. You know, you're gonna if you just. I know that a lot of questions come up in people's minds when they go through this. I know this sounds kind of ignorant in a way and maybe a bit weird, but just try to ignore the questions and just do what I'm suggesting. Does that make sense? Because maybe I come from a different world, but one of the things that was really important to me as a young person in the many different things that I studied, I've studied so many things, different kinds of poetry, different kinds of martial art, one in particular, but I've thought a lot about different martial arts, but this one martial art in particular, where you have to, it's called sistema, or sistema in the English pronunciation, you need to just suppress asking too many questions and thinking too much, and you need to kind of just surrender yourself to a process and go through steps and discover and explore and learn by doing. And what I'm trying to do in the magnetic memory method is get you to understand the instincts of your memory through relaxation and knowing the techniques and really getting them so that you get them in a spirit of relaxation. So that when you use your time to return to this topic that we're talking about. Oh, Rebecca, great to see you here. Well, we're definitely going to make sure to get you that. You'll love it too. I think you maybe will recognize who it comes from. But and it's not me. When you understand time and relaxation and your own psychology, and you understand your rejection of your memory, your pushbacks, all of the excuses you give yourself for why things aren't working, and you let those frustrations go, you're gonna pop. I mean, in a good way. This is gonna work for you at a much higher level. But at some point, you've got to surrender yourself to the process. And I took years to figure this out. I went through all kinds of things. I studied hypnosis. I was doing this weird, well, it's not weird, it's actually a fantastic martial art, sistema. And I had to take years to put all this stuff together. But I packaged it into a course and books for you guys so you can follow it. But you've got to implement to study the effects. And if you ever have any questions about it, I mean, there's testimonials all over the place. And those are from people who take action. And the reason why they get those results are all the results are relative to actually trying the stuff. And I think that one of the secrets to trying stuff is to just suppress the objections. And I think that's why this message about controlling your time and having a philosophy of time will really help you with that, because you want to be free. You want to have your creative energies as available to you as possible, and that comes through having time structured and framed to give you that mental freedom so that you can do that. So Cindy says, I have a processing problem, takes longer to get things. Can people like you, like me, still improve memories? Cindy, absolutely. There's a way. If you want it, it's yours. You've got to learn to just do and try different things, implement. And it's just one of those things where you've got to get in and not let any objections get in the way of absolutely surrendering yourself to a step-by-step process, understanding that some of those steps are going to surprise you, and you might go, whoa, what's this? And you might have to stop and think a little bit. You might have to go back to the instruction manual and it's there for you. I mean, it's just there. You can go back to it. One of the metaphors I like to use about memory techniques is a memory I have of my brother and I. We were both very different creatures, and we played video games a lot, but my brother was always better at the video games. And it's because he had a special secret. And I never recognized it until I was an adult. I used to just let myself get frustrated. I'd be with my brother, we're playing Contra or whatever, and he's just like, you're dying, man, you're dying, can't you figure it out? And I'm just like, oh, I don't even know what, and like Street Fighter. He's just kicking my butt, left, right, and center. And he had this special secret, which is when he played games and he couldn't figure out what to do, he went and got the instruction manual and read it again. He would read these instruction manuals from cover to cover and revisit them frequently so that he could beat the games. I've never seen anybody beat as many games as my brother beat those games. He beat them silly. He was like the Wizard. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, The Wizard, where the kids go to this video game competition and they're just like bam, 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 beating everything. Well, they don't show them reading the manuals, I don't think, in that movie. I don't remember them doing that, but my brother read the manuals. He went back to the manuals, and that's why he was so good at the games. If he had a question, if something happened and he needed clarification, he went back to the source. He consulted the source. He didn't have like anybody to ask questions to. You couldn't call Nintendo. There was no internet at the time. You couldn't go onto a page and say, oh, what's the magic process? Like these days you go on the internet and somebody has uploaded screen by screen by screen of all the different things and press up, left, right, center, all that stuff, start, pause. Like you just get it free now, and it doesn't mean nearly as much. It doesn't give you nearly as much valuable skill than the old days when you had to look stuff up and then you had to try and experiment, and if it didn't work, well then you had to go back to the source and try again, because if you wanted it, you found a way to get it, and it usually had to do with dedicated study. Now, George Allen says, recently signed up for the masterclass, and so glad you did. Oh, where's my jet? Yeah, I'm recognizing this. George, so great that you're here. I really appreciate you letting me know. Thank you so much. That's it. I created this manual for you so that it's there for you. And you really are playing a kind of game with your mind. And here's another metaphor for you that I think will be helpful. And it all ties back to how I control time, which I just described for you with my own morning ritual. Life's a game, and there's many different kind of games to play in the game of life. And game theory tells us that you can play games in such a way that you are invited back to the games that you like to play the most, to play them again. But you need to be prepared to play in them in a way that they're fun and that they serve you, and that you yourself want to be invited back to play them again and again. And that's, if you think about that metaphor, about what are the games you want to play, and how can you play them so that you are invited to play them again and again and again, it's going to be revolutionary in your life. And if you like to play the memory game, then I just invite you to get into Magnetic Memory Method if you aren't already, understanding that you learn it by doing it. And yes, I'm always happy to answer questions, and I've answered the questions many, many times in many, many different ways. And so, please never think I'm an ignoramus if myself or an assistant says, check out this. Because the answer is more than check out this. It's implement. Find time, make that time free for implementation so you're not bothered by 100 things on your to-do list, and then explore, discover, test things, analyze what's happening, get in there, and then go back to the manual if you need it. The manual's there. And again, I say this with the kindness, the fullest kindness and love in my heart, and it comes partly because that's the kind of student I always tried to be for my teachers, is the quality of your questions is higher with respect to how much time you've spent yourself trying to answer the question. Feynman talked about this in his lectures, is that you go to your teachers showing them what you did to try to solve the problem yourself. That teacher is primed to love you and to care for you and take you under their wing far more than just, I don't get it, right? Go to the teacher with your workbook in hand. You have the internet now. You can send screenshots. You can make a video for your teacher and say, oh, look, I did this. And I do this myself, When I want the help of one of the biggest internet gurus and so on, I don't go with a question that is just like, hey, how do I do X? That doesn't work. What works is sending a 20-page document or video, a 20-minute video that says, hey, I took this training from you, and here's what I tried. And I know you don't have all the time in the world, but here's a quick summary, but I'd love to go through it just even for my own sake to show you what I'm working on and why I'm doing it this way. And if you have any insight for me at the end, that would be great. Usually what you'll find is you answer your own questions through this process, but you'll get this, you'll get it. I've been invited for lunch and dinner from doing this, and I'll tell you that's a hell of a lot better than just like, oh yeah, here's a link on my blog. So if you want to make friends and influence people, show them that you are actually doing what they're saying, and they will help you at a much higher level. And be their champions. Help them help you. So yeah, that can be as simple as making sure you're liking stuff, sharing it around, commenting, being active, a participant in what the person's trying to achieve, and support them. And then the level of support you receive in return just goes way up. But at the same time, recognize that each of us is just one person, and recognize that you're just one person. And to get us back to our topic, time is on your side. Forget the Rolling Stones. Time is on your side. You've just got to put a frame on it. You've got to give it shape. You've got to give yourself shape inside of time. You got to know what you want. You got to be in line with your passion and your purpose. Stop trying to memorize shopping lists and all that stuff, and memorize the information that's going to make a difference immediately, because time is running out. Time is ticking all the time. Tick, 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 tick. So I hope that you enjoyed this session together. I really, really appreciate it, and also your patience, given that it's the first YouTube live, but I'm confident it'll be the first of many. And I'm gonna go for a bike ride here, but later I'll come and edit this piece so that there's some links to some of the resources that were talked about. But for now, if you want the Cheshire grin of knowledge, make sure that you get hold of time. Thanks everybody for being here. This is Anthony Metivier from magneticmarymethod.com. Lots of magnetic love, my brothers and sisters in memory, and join me in memory. Join us all, those of us who have gotten traction and move forward with this, become memory artists. People who, just, I don't know. It's incredible when you just live a life devoted to memory. It's all we got, right? We got time, and we got the quality of what we remember. So with that in mind, thanks again for being here. And until we speak again, keep yourself on time and magnetic. Take care. Much love. Bye-bye.